Bearings are responsible for 40% to 60% of all rotating equipment failures, depending on industry. 70% of those are due to improper lubrication. I've spent years working with production machinery, and I can tell you that bearing failure is one of the most preventable disasters on the factory floor. The top 3 root causes of bearing failure are 70% lubrication issues, 20% contamination, and 15% issues related to misalignment. By applying the inspections, tools, and techniques within FrameD, you can significantly reduce unplanned downtime. Today I'm taking you inside actual bearing failures, close-up, unfiltered, and technical. We're going to look at real pitting, scoring, spalling, and lubrication breakdown. In a production environment, you've got 4 main accelerators working against you. Load cycles that create fatigue, contamination that acts like sandpaper, heat that breaks down everything, and misalignment that concentrates stress. What I find fascinating is that these mechanisms don't work alone, they compound. A little contamination leads to friction. Friction creates heat. Heat degrades your lubricant, and suddenly you're in a failure spiral. Each wear mechanism leaves a signature. Once you know what to look for, bearings basically tell you their failure story. Let me show you how to catch bearing failure before it happens. First, sound. A healthy bearing hums smoothly, but wear introduces frequencies you can hear. Now let's get visual. Check this out. This is surface fatigue pitting. See these tiny craters? They start as subsurface stress concentrations from overloading or inadequate lubrication. Pitting almost always clusters in the load zone. That's your smoking gun for overload or insufficient oil film thickness. Here's where it gets expensive. This is scoring. Those linear scratches you see are from abrasive particles or adhesive transfer when metal touches metal. Once lubrication fails, wear accelerates exponentially. You're measuring remaining life in hours, not weeks. So what does all this wear do to your shaft and motor? Increased radial and axial play means your shaft starts running out of true. Suddenly you've got dynamic imbalance, seal damage from runout. The easiest way to inspect for misalignment is to check if the witness marks on your housing are offset, or if screws or bolts keep loosening as you run. This is also an indicator of increased vibration. Here's how you limit the impact right now. Derate your load by 20–30%, reduce speed if possible, verify and correct alignment immediately. Always perform alignment checks. With proper tools and procedure. Schedule 2 qualified people to perform alignment. Schedule controlled downtime before the bearing schedules it for you. Now for the corrective action sequence that actually works. Inspect and document everything. Measure shaft and housing fits with precision tools. Replace the bearing and seals as a set. After any breakdown, inspect parts to identify culprit. Install replacement after all negative factors have been removed. Restore equipment if possible. Always remove contamination prior to replacing part. Establish proper bearing preload using Torquay specifications and precision. Verify and finalize perfect shaft alignment. Prevention is where you win. Implement condition monitoring, vibration analysis, thermography, and oil analysis. Catch problems early. Establish real-time condition monitoring sensors and trend data to identify early signs of wear. Establish adequate lubrication practices by following OEM guidelines and procedures. Install properly seal bearing housing with contamination barriers to prevent contamination. Keep bearings properly stored and handle with care. Ensure the workforce, operators, technicians, and engineers are properly trained. Use plant KPIs such as MTBF to ensure machine health. Investigate potential issues. By following the FRAME-D diagnostic procedures, bearing wear may be exposed early, leading to early correction and prevention. Using FRAME-D, the signatures are clear, the corrective actions are proven, and the prevention strategies work. Now go look at your bearings with new eyes. I guarantee you'll find something worth fixing.